what we're gonna do with Mr. Cody here is we're gonna do some position training on a platform. Now, Mr. Cody is an extra large dog, and so if I were going to train him on a Cato board, I would actually use a Cato plank. In fact, he has a Cato plank at home. I don't happen to have a Cato plank with me today, so what we did is we just locked two climb boards together, dropped it down to the floor, so now it makes a platform that is long enough for him to lie down on. And we are gonna show you how you could practice some positions with the Cato board. Or with a platform, with a climb, with a cot, with any raised surface. So the raised surface, what it does for the dog is it does a couple of things. Dogs like to be in the highest point, so they will just naturally climb up on something if it's a raised surface. So it has that attractive element. But then the other thing is once they're on there, just that slight difference in elevation of the platform creates an additional boundary for them that they are maybe less hesitant to cross than if it had been just all the same level. So they have to actually take a step down if they want to break position, which sometimes for dogs is just all they need to not break position. What we're going to do first with Cody, since he's in a sit, is we're going to practice stand with him. So, oh, well, okay then. We're still going to practice stand with him, I think, is what we're going to do. What I like to do is I like to have treats in both hands. I use one hand to lure and the other hand to reward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, with treats in my hands, lure Cody into a stand position by putting the lure in front of his muzzle and pulling him forward just enough for his butt to come up off the ground, for him to be standing, but not so much that he steps off of the platform. So let's see how well we do. He's already sort of stepped off the platform, so I'm going to see if I can scooch it back a little bit. Oh, okay, so you're going to do that. All right. Yep. So you see what happens is I pull my hand forward just until his butt pops up, and then I stop moving my hand forward and I bring my other hand in to reward. Yep. So he had a step down, but then he got right back up on the climb because he's like, see, this is my platform. I have to stay on it. Yep. So I've lured 3 times with food in my hand, and I don't like to lure with food in my hand for too many repetitions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to a phantom lure, which is basically I hold my hand like I have food in it. I've just had food in my hand, so it still smells like food. So it sort of fakes the dog out a little bit, but we're not rewarding from our lure hand anyway. So they're not used to getting food from that. Hey, do you want to sit? All right. Yep. Yep. Good dog. Yep. So he has no problem popping his butt up for a phantom lure. So what I'm ready to do now is just to convert this to a flat hand signal like this. So when I pull my hand forward like this, my dog should pull themselves up into a stand but not take steps forward, because it's a stand, not a stand and walk. All right, come on, Cody Bug. Good dog. I know, you're such a good ball life. So I have no food in this hand. It's just going to be a hand signal now. Yep. So we got a little bit of a butt pop up. I'm actually going to try to get him positioned a little bit further back on the board so he has more room before he takes that step off. All right, can you sit? Yep. So I don't really care that his butt's going right back down. It's just the act of standing. Yep. She had to come in and make sure that you were doing a good job. Here you go, Maddie. There you go, Cody. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to focus on teaching sit now that we've got a stand. So he's going to sit automatically because he's been reinforced so much. But if he weren't, what I would do is I would again start out with treats in both my hands. I'm going to lure with one hand and I'm going to reward with the other hand. And then, you know, I'm going to reward Maddie just because she's helping. She's the distraction. She's being very helpful. So I'm going to pull Cody into a stand because he's not already in a stand and I want to lure him into a sit. So what a good boy. Okay, that was a stand and walk. All right, so yep. What I'm doing is I'm with my lure hand drawing a line from my dog's nose up their forehead so that it causes them to overbalance backwards And the easiest thing for them to do at that point is to sit down. When I see their butt hit the ground, that's when I'm marking. So I'm gonna get them into a stand. What a good dog. Oh, I don't even know what that was. Here, let's get you up. Let's get you up. All right. Yep. All right, so he's so good at sit right now that I went ahead into the phantom lure. So I didn't actually have food in that hand, but I made it look like I had food in that hand. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how he responds just to the hand signal for sit. Hey, can you stand up for a second? Good boy. Yep. So if I were standing in front of him, hey. Yep. And she's like, would you like me to go into a position as well? So he's really good with that. The one position that we haven't done is down. So we're gonna also try that again with food in the lure hand, food in the reward hand. So you can lure your dog into a down from a sit or a stand. I have a bias toward luring my dog in to a down from a stand because I think that's a cleaner behavior and it's faster, but I'm fine. I would also like my dog to be able to go into a down from a sit. So I practice it both ways. So we're gonna go ahead and lure him into a down from a sit, or maybe from a stand. Would you rather a stand? Drawing a line with my lure hand down to his toes, and I'm just gonna hold it there and look for his elbows to start bending. Yep. And once they start bending, I'm gonna pay that, right? Because that was really hard for him. I'm gonna hold the lure hand, yep, down longer, and I got that butt on the ground, so I'm giving him a serial jackpot. Now I have to pay Maddie something because she's being so supportive about the whole pursuit, right? Come on, Cody. I know you were so good. Do you want to try it down again? Do you want to try it down again? So I'm going to use a phantom lure. Yep. And he goes down immediately. And when I treat him, I just put those treats right down on the floor between his front paws. Because if you are always feeding your dog from your hand, they're sort of craning their neck up to sort of anticipate that food. And it's not helpful if you're training it down. You want all their energy to be oriented downward. May I have a couple of treats, Cynthia? And then we can keep filming and we don't even have to stop. It'll be like, you know, a tracking shot in like an Orson Welles movie or something. Here you go. Thank you. All right, so let's try a couple more down. Hey, Cody Bug. Yep. All right, so that was just a flat hand down to the ground, and he eventually went down for it. So I'm gonna give him all the treats. Come on. So the deal with that is he's now responding to the flat hand signal, but I have to go all the way to the ground with it. So the next step in Cody's training, which we're not gonna go over today, is going to be receding with the hand signal and getting him to respond back or respond well with a scaled backhand signal. So instead of going all the way to the ground, you start like fading it back until you can get your dog to respond to a down, just doing that. So that's the goal. Thank you to Cody and Maddie for all the help.